Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Today we are taking start of our next lecture, that is terrestrial animal, especially osmoregulation in terrestrial animal. Because we have done with the osmoregulation in freshwater animal and marine animals, so today we are moving towards the terrestrial animal. First we have to define terrestrial animal. Terrestrial animal, they are animals that live predominantly or entirely on land. Terrestrial animal include what? Arthropods, reptiles, birds and mammals. If we compare all these, so arthropod, that these are the invertebrates, while reptile, birds and mammal, they are the vertebrates animal. These three group of animal, they are also called as amnion because amnios, because they are having amnion as their extra embryonic membrane. Problem: these animal, they face dehydration due to evaporation. Then second one, what are their adaptation then? Each group of animal, it has in their own adaptation for conservation of water. With this respect, first of all, we take arthropods. Arthropods, they have chitinous exoskeleton or chitinous cuticle, which is basically preventing evaporation, and thus the body is prevented from dehydration as well. Beside this, the excretory product is uric acid. Uric acid is that nitrogenous waste product which is requiring least expenditure of water. If we compare ammonia, urea and uric acid, so among these three nitrogenous waste products, the least water is required for uric acid to be excreted as a nitrogenous waste product. Reptiles, they're having keratinized skin. Their skin, it is having tough type of insoluble protein. Beside this, they also excrete uric acid. And if we see their skin is also provided with several armors, some in the form of scales, some in the form of plates, some in the form of spine, etc. Then when we move towards the birds, so birds, they are also having their own adaptation. They have feathers which are acting as insulator, scale on the exposed part which is preventing body from evaporation, and excrete uric acid. So all these three adaptation, they are also for the conservation of water, and thus this is one of the requirement for this group of animal. Mammals, desert mammals, they are very much resistant in this regard. Different mammals, they have different adaptation, which are fossorial mode of life. A fossorial animal, it is one which is adapted to digging, which lives primarily but not solely underground, and this adaptation is also to avoid the extreme desert condition. Some example, that is nacked mole rat. You can see nacked mole rat in the diagram, and this mole rat is basically such that it makes small burrows for itself and is living over there just to prevent itself from the harsh weather condition of the desert, especially at that time, the extreme heat of sun. Let's see. Okay, then after that we move towards the anhydrobiosis. It's also one of the phenomenon which is adapted by the desert animal, and you can see over here what's the situation, that anhydrobiosis, and mean not hydro mean water, biosis mean life, life without water. So it's that phenomenon in which the animal can survive for a longer period of time without drinking water. Kangaroo rat is the example, and it can tolerate strong degree of dehydration, especially by special metabolic and behavioral adaptation, and this characteristic is called as anhydrobiosis. Now, nutritional adaptation. Kangaroo rat, we can also see while in the diagram as well. This is the kangaroo rat. This kangaroo rat, it is basically the rat which is eutherian mammal, but it is having the morphology just like kangaroo, so that's why it has given the name of kangaroo rat. Now, we should move towards the nutritional adaptation. Nutritional adaptation, such animals, they feed on the seed of desert plant which have large amount of what? Carbohydrate, and during the breakdown of these compound, water is produced as a byproduct that is utilized by these animals. Best example of such animal is kangaroo rat. Beside this behavioral adaptation, these desert animal, they avoid daytime heat and emerge at night time. So this is basically called as nocturnal behavior. Like at night time, they're active, they are performing their maximum activities while at night time, and they avoid daytime heat. So this is also one of the adaptation, how to prevent themselves from the dehydration. Then next one is metabolic water. 90% of the water that kangaroo rat use is metabolic water, which is basically derived from the cellular oxidation, like which is produced by the cellular oxidation process, so that is utilized by the kangaroo rat. You can see over here one of the example of the fossorial animal is squirrel, which is having fossorial mode of life. It is living well in small burrows, and it's also living in desert, and it's avoiding the harsh environmental condition of daytime while in the desert. Let's see next. Our next topic is excretion. So first we have to define that what is excretion. Excretion is the process by which the metabolic waste is eliminated from an organism. In vertebrate, this is primarily carried out by the lungs, kidney, and skin. As we know that lung is concerned with the elimination of water and carbon dioxide, kidney is mainly concerned with the removal of nitrogenous waste product and other waste product, and skin, it is though we are having that skin is have sweat gland, and sweat gland main purpose is basically helping in thermoregulation, but over here sweat gland, when it's producing its secretion, so that's basically water along with the certain very traces amount of nitrogenous waste product, but its main primary purpose is basically helping in thermoregulation, right? Then explanation. The metabolism of food and other chemicals in the body produces large amount of toxic byproduct. These byproducts, they are in the form of what? These are in the form of water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Now water. In the metabolism of all the sugar, lipids, and even protein. हम कहते हैं कि जब लिपिड्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स और फैट्स की मेटाबॉलिज्म होती हैं तो इसमें बाय प्रोडक्ट वाटर बनता है. Besides this carbon dioxide, just like water, we are saying carbon dioxide is also produced in the metabolism of all these edible items. Then ammonia, metabolism of protein, urea, again metabolism of protein, but over here we are saying in man the primary nitrogenous waste product which is produced as ammonia in the form of metabolic byproduct of protein, तो इसको कन्वर्ट करती हैं यूरिया में, which is less toxic from that of the ammonia, and over here the conversion of ammonia into urea it occur by liver, while the excretion of urea it occur by the kidneys. This is in man. Then after that, when we talk about the uric acid, so uric acid is again less toxic as compared to ammonia and urea, and it'll just require less amount of water for its excretion as compared to ammonia and urea. But let's see how it's produced. Nucleic acid, they are first broken into nucleotide, and then it is converted into nitrogenous base NB, and lastly form basically waste product which is called as uric acid. Then we have to just take one by one these nitrogenous waste products. So first of all, we are taking ammonia, the primary nitrogenous waste product which is produced in man. This is basically the primary waste product, and then later on it's converted into urea. But let's see, some animal they excrete their ammonia directly, for example freshwater animal when we are talking about. Other first convert it to less toxic waste such as urea or uric acid and then excrete it. And the example is again what? Man. Ammonia is highly toxic and highly soluble in water. 1 gram of nitrogen in the form of ammonia, it requires 500 ml of water to dissolve it to non-toxic level. This point is to be noted, like 1 gram of nitrogen in the form of ammonia. So how much water is required? That's 500 ml of water is required to dissolve it to non-toxic level. Then if the organism it has a sufficient source of water, ammonia can simply excrete out. And this is the course or the pathway which is taken by many aquatic organisms, particularly those in fresh water. Then animal which excrete ammonia as their major nitrogenous waste product, they are called as ammonotelic. Example, it consists of most of the fishes, protozoans, sponges, coelenterate, and echinoderms. Then urea. It is one of the nitrogenous waste product. It is excreted by man as well. The nitrogenous waste product of man is urea mainly. It's produced from the ammonia in the liver by urea cycle, excreted by the kidney in mammals and some other vertebrate animal as well. Organism with less freshwater availability, such as some marine organism and all the terrestrial organism, couldn't afford to waste water, so that's why they will often invest some of the energy to convert the ammonia into urea, which is 100,000 times less toxic than ammonia. 1 gram of nitrogen in the form of urea, it required 50 ml of water to dilute it to non-toxic level. If you compare this with ammonia, so the expenditure of water over here is less. But one thing should be kept in mind, they require what a little bit energy to convert the ammonia into urea. जी अमोनिया को यूरिया में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए एनर्जी की एक्सपेंडिचर है, लेकिन यहाँ पे एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ वाटर थोड़ा कम हो जाता है जी. Next animal which excrete urea as their major nitrogenous waste product, they are basically called as what? They are called as ureotelic. Example include mammal, some amphibian, sharks, and some bony fishes as well. Next, uric acid. Uric acid is a purine which is double ring structure. It's less toxic than urea. It precipitates from the solution. And 1 gram of nitrogen in the form of uric acid, it requires just 1 ml of water for its excretion. So water, okay. Then it has evolved into group with major water loss problem, और वो कौन से हैं? Terrestrial invertebrates and egg-laying vertebrates. जी, animal terrestrial invertebrates में जब हम बात करते हैं तो arthropods, और egg-laying vertebrates की जब हम बात करते हैं तो जी हम reptiles को ले ले, birds को ले ले. Okay. Then animal which excrete uric acid, they are called as uricotelic. And beside this, the example, it include what? That is birds, reptiles, certain arthropods, and land snail as well.